What's going on out there, Culture Junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kishiro. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of different topics. We're also going to be introducing something a little bit new to the show now that football season is here. I'm actually kind of excited to talk about that with the fellas. But something came out today concerning creators, and it brought up this interesting discussion on creators versus creative license. So I want to talk about that. Beau DeMayo's back in the news. Concord's dead. Star Wars Outlaws is out there. A whole bunch of stuff. And also there's a Terminator anime that people may or may not want to talk about. But bringing back the fellas on the show to me today is the great Datakuji is here. Simon Says and GQ the Collector are here. What is going on, my good friends?
Hey.
I feel like I need to raise this camera up a little bit. Raise it up. Oh.
He's got that Batman villain perspective going on right now.
Yeah, I got that Dutch angle.
Yeah, the Dutch angle. The
only thing you need is that do.
Yes, it's literally all he needs right there.
Yep.
Speaking of looking like a villain, Preem is over on Twitch. He's making a comment about my latest Facebook profile picture. So I went on vacation with the fam over Labor Day weekend. We had a wedding to go to. One of my baby cousins got married. So you want to go to a wedding. You want to be suited and booted. So I got myself a nice little blue fedora, and I was wearing a suit and everything. And so he made a comment and said, "My latest Facebook picture looks like I'm cosplaying Pimpy Smurf, and I'm ready to let the Smurf hand down if you don't get his Smurfing money." Which he ain't wrong. I was kind of somewhat going for that look when I did it, but I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. But at least, did I look fly? I mean, I'm not saying I want you to.
You was getting your Ned Leeds on from Spider-Man: Homecoming.
God, no, brother.
Hey, no. Aunt May says she liked the hat. She said it was fly. So
yeah. I was trying to prove that when I want to, I can clean up and look pretty nice. Got a lot of comments on compliments on Facebook and Instagram.
Not everybody can rock a powder blue suit. So
that's true. That is true. I was actually waiting for you, sir, to chime in and say something, but you did not. So go ahead and just say it.
I don't have anything to say. You look nice.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. I will leave it at that.
I'll leave it. Okay. He'll leave it at that. Okay.
Right.
You're right, though. Not everybody can pull off powder blue suits.
Powder blue Lamborghini panel wagon. Sorry, I think that's what the motherfucker said.
You're still going off that.
What do you say in Boondocks? My president is black and my Lambo is blue.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
Oh goodness.
So to break a little bit of the ice, I don't want to do we know the NFL season is here. I want to wait for everybody to kind of get in. Marcus A64, it's our time again. The Lions are not playing the Panthers again this year, so I won't be able to get my get back on you this time. But your day is coming, sir. Your day is coming.
I mean, we did.
Your day is coming, sir. I'm just saying. Your day is coming. But we're gonna do a bit of a pick segment a little bit later because Dido, who has zero sports real knowledge, not knowledge, I should
zero.
Say, but
I pay attention, but I don't hardcore pay attention.
He's not invested.
People who are invested in the sports like I'm in the video games, that's what they do in the sports. That's their nerddom.
So he's in a pick'em league, and we're gonna, I'm gonna help him. Me and Simon Says helped him do a few picks, so we're gonna share our picks with you, and we'll update you as the season goes along how we're doing against our picks. But real quick, y'all, Sharita Jackson's got the right. She's got the right sentiment.
Jackson with the Go Lions. All right,
Go Lions. She's got the right sentiment. I'll send a Clowney jersey for you next time. No, sir. I'll send you a Hutch jersey. No, actually, what am I saying? Maybe I'll send you a Jameson Williams jersey since you're close down to Alabama. Anyway, so this dude Beau DeMayo stay putting himself out there, and he says last time we talked about this, he says he was retreating from Twitter so he could find a quote unquote safe space to tell his whole truth. Well, he's back, and he is going to tell his whole truth on his OnlyFans profile.
Yeah, behind a paywall.
Behind a paywall. So never mind the fact that he couldn't put everything out there on Twitter for Disney to completely tear apart, which they would do anyway. But he wants people to pay for the access, to pay to his OnlyFans, where we know my man has already been proven to be a little bit flamboyant and out there. He wants people to pay for his OnlyFans. So not only so they can get his truth, but they also see, his baby oiled, sheened body. I'm good. I'm totally good.
Well, I'm going to remind this man. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Simon said. Go ahead. I'll go after.
He's like, what you looking at me for?
Yeah.
All right. Well, no. I'm going to remind this gentleman that OnlyFans is a 99.9999% female advantage platform. Like women make money on OnlyFans, not guys. I'm sure there's a couple gentlemen out there that make money on OnlyFans somehow, some way, probably doing collabs with women. However, ain't nobody paying you no money to find out whatever the hell the story is on OnlyFans, bro. It's going I guarantee you somebody's gonna leak your OnlyFans, and then it's gonna get leaked. You ain't gonna see a dime. Definitely nobody on this panel.
Definitely not. It ain't happening. But GQ is right, because Disney has already issued a response to what he had to say about his whole truth. It was in Variety, actually, what he said his whole truth is. But thank you for Variety for your journalistic integrity, doing your due diligence, and going the extra mile, probably going behind behind his OnlyFans and getting the full truth so you can report on it. So we didn't have to pay in order to go and see it. So we appreciate your sacrifice, because I damn sure wasn't going to do it. And it's not even worth us even talking about on this show. I just thought it was really funny. I wanted to bring it up to you guys. I thought it was funny that this man wanted to out his whole truth and put it behind a paywall. Like, what?
I mean, again, I look. Here's the thing: if Disney blacklists you, you may as well just say you don't do whatever the hell it is that you do anymore, because this is probably his last cash grab. Because if Disney jumps down your throat about something, you're probably going to get shunned by a lot of other people in the industry, regardless of the back and forth between Marvel, DC, and all that. They still all talk to each other, and they still all have various hiring practices and whatnot. So if you get truly blacklisted and basically put out to pasture, become a pariah, don't think Warner Brothers, Sony, and all them other places are going to suddenly just snatch you up, because you've already proven yourself to be trouble.
Well, his bed he's gonna make. He's the bed he's going to sleep in.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much it. So what else is going on out there that you guys wanted to talk about?
I mean, I wasn't really following it, and I guess we can all talk about it, but there's a game that apparently they came out. It's been out for 2 weeks, and the plug is being pulled on it already.
Yep.
Concord.
Oh wow!
No. Yeah.
What was Concord about?
It might have been all.
I think it was like a looter shooter or something. Not a looter shooter, but like one of those like shooters, battle arena shooters.
It was essentially an Overwatch clone.
Yeah, Overwatch clone.
Okay.
It was in 8-year development. And
8 years?
Yeah, 8 years development, and they spent over $100 million for that game.
8 years? $100 million?
Yes, bro.
And it gets pulled in 2 weeks?
Yes.
How many copies? Well, hold on. I'm guessing it wasn't
25,000.
So it was an online release.
Wait, hold.
It sold 25,000 copies.
You said 25,000? That's it.
That's what I heard. 25,000.
That's it.
What studio did that? Because they ain't gonna be around very long.
25,000. What?
That's painful, dude.
Okay, so Q is in the chat. He says it was 250 million.
250 million.
That's still.
Okay, you got the $15 you owe me for that popcorn tin? Talking about it's not a lot of money.
Oh no, I do actually. I do got you on something. I got you.
Whatever. A lot of money. Dude, 250 million is a lot of money. I don't give a damn.
That's life changing.
Mm-hmm. Especially
Shit,
if you
$1
only
million
get,
for a
especially
game.
if you only sell
Oh.
25,000 copies of a game.
And you're not getting that shit back.
Q.
Mm-hmm.
I have to check. I have to challenge you. It definitely. I just searched on Google. This is as of 2 days ago. When they ceased selling the game, it is possibly just 25,000 in total sales of the game.
Wow.
So that equates to only $1 million that it made. Just one.
Yeah, whatever studio did that or whatever, we ain't gonna hear from them for a long time, if ever.
I mean,
So-
from what I saw the actual what's the name? The trailers for it. It wasn't even impressive. It was like, dude, this is like another, like you said, Overwatch clone.
So
Hold on, isn't Overwatch about an 8-year-old game now?
Pretty much. They're on part 2.
Well, they made a sequel
Yeah,
to
it's part
Overwatch.
No, I know there's a part
Yeah.
2. I'm just saying because I remember when Overwatch came out, there was a craze, everybody trying to copy that style.
Oh yeah, there was a.
So they literally,
they
literally are 8 years behind the ball. Then,
yeah, of course.
Well, that's what they think the money is.
Of
a lot
course.
of companies think the money is in what they call it, live service
Mhm.
games. A lot of people don't realize, and I saw somebody did a TikTok about it, that live service games, you don't really make money off of it because you got to keep up the servers. You got to always keep people on there, making sure that things don't go wrong. You got to consistently be coming up with new schemes to get people to come in, which cause people. It has to, and so you're not really making money on it. Where if you make a game that's a single player game, you're making money because once everything is paid and done, everything that comes through is profit. You're not making any profit off those.
Well, not only that. I mean, realistically, the only one that in that arena, so to speak, to use the pun, that worked and it was the first anyway was Fortnite. Fortnite stays on top because they were the one that kind of created that model, at least for that type of game and whatnot. So I mean, I understand the idea of like you're trying to strike while it's hot, but it's like, okay, you started this development 8 years ago when this particular thing was hot. You mean to tell me y'all sat there in a cave for 8 years and didn't even bother to look and see what was hot now and maybe make some adjustments and changes?
Nope.
That's crazy. That's insane.
So
well, hold on. Speaking in that, I was going to bring up this particular topic about the fighting games and how it's basically this generation of fighting games is probably the biggest fall off I've ever seen of that genre. Because if you really look at it, there's only 3 majors right now. It's Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat. If you go back to the PS4 era and Xbox Xbox One, which is funny to even still call it the Xbox One, but it's Mortal Kombat was on top with Mortal Kombat 11. They sold about 15 million copies of that game in I want to say a 6-year span, maybe a little bit less. Street Fighter 5, as we all know, underperformed heavily for a Street Fighter game, and then Tekken 7 was like gangbusters, was just head and shoulders of probably the best game of last fighting generation.
Fighting game of the last generation.
Yeah. Well, this time around, it's no for that particular genre, that particular, because again, Virtua Fighter 5 was another re-release.
Yeah.
Virtua Fighter 5.
No, I know that. I wasn't arguing Virtua Fighter 5. I was just saying, are we really considering Tekken 7 that much more ahead of Street Fighter 5? Because I thought, for longevity's sake, I felt like Street Fighter 5 had a lot of legs.
Street Fighter 5 had legs after, like you said, the rough launch and all that. But Tekken was kicking its butt, dude, as far as its popularity, and that was the one that people was all about playing, because a lot of people they soured on Street Fighter 5 when it first came out, and a lot of people did not come back, even though it obviously improved over the years.
Over time.
Tekken 7, as we all know, was an arcade game first, and then came to the consoles with Akuma in there. And it had legs from the get-go. This time around, this is the biggest reversal in fall off that I've ever seen. Street Fighter 6 is the one that's on top right now. Yeah, maybe not 100% on sales side of things. I know they sold at least 3 million of them, and Street Fighter 6 did come out first. But Mortal Kombat is falling way behind its normal numbers. Mortal Kombat, I think they said is and again, only is a relative term, but it's only sold about 4 million copies for a Mortal Kombat game. That is very, very low.
What
we all know
Yeah.
we all, because remember, Mortal Kombat 1 came out after Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Tekken
Oof.
8, which Tekken 8 only sold about 2.5 million at this point. And
That's a big
Tekken,
ass drop off.
huge drop off for Tekken. So that's what I'm saying. And it's a weird reversal. Now, all 3 games suffer from the problem of having the battle pass and all this extra, money that they want to basically squeeze out of you. Street Fighter did start off the battle pass for out of these 3. Street Fighter started off the little fight pass thing first. But they have a little bit more incentive for you to do it. It's like, okay, you do it, you can buy the little premium pass or whatever. You can earn back a lot of the fight coins, which is basically the in-game
My fight money.
Yeah, basically. It's like that's the in-game currency that you use real money to purchase, but you can earn back those actual fight coins by basically playing the game. It takes a little bit of the sting out of that. Okay, you have to buy the battle pass. It's like, well, if you play through and earn all the content of that particular pass, next month's pass will basically almost be free to you. So you can kind of just have that recurring thing going. Mortal Kombat and Tekken don't have anything even remotely resembling that. They're just like, give me the money.
Yeah,
give me the money.
It hasn't. They still haven't dropped a new character yet for Tekken, because I know
Tekken's got 2 new characters. Tekken has 2 new
Chaos.
characters. They have Eddie and Lily.
Oh, Tekken.
Lily.
Tekken.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was saying you were talking Tekken. I thought you were talking Mortal Kombat. I was talking about Chaos.
Nah. That new pass, which cost us almost the same price of the original game, which is a freaking ridiculous thing for them to do. A season pass that damn near costs as much as the game. That comes out the 24th of this month, actually, I believe.
What are they doing? Like what?
Yeah,
Battle Pass costing as much as the game itself.
No. This is the quote unquote second season, the combat pack, the
whole.
whatever.
Who cares?
No, I'm with you, but don't forget, Dead or Alive 5 had $99 season passes.
Yeah, we all know how egregious that was, right?
Yeah, that was
like,
silly. That was just outright
stupid.
silly. Yeah.
Straight up stupid. Like, yeah, no, I hear you. Which
I miss the days when you can just play a game and open up all the characters.
So to that point, everybody seemingly is very excited for Capcom Fighting a Collection to come out.
Yeah, and Marvel versus Marvel, the Marvel
versus.
Yeah,
the versus
the Marvel collection, because you get everything.
Yeah, the Marvel versus Capcom Fighting Collection. I think
that drops digitally. That drops digitally next week.
Next week, and best believe I'm very excited to get back to playing that. Right? Because to me, okay, we can make the argument that the versus type games peaked at Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's just my opinion. It peaked. I know Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was super popular, but I don't think it had the widespread universal love like MVC2 did.
Nah, two had 10-year in the arcade legs. That's unheard of. Unless you are old school Street Fighter 2, or maybe even Third Strike. No other arcade game was still getting like mad love and mad play like Marvel Capcom 2 was in the arcades 10 years after it came out. Like that game still got played. So
yes, indeed. Yeah. So like I'm very much looking forward to get that, and it's so surprising, like you said, GQ, to hear all these fighting games coming, because if you think about it, the biggest thing for Street Fighter 6 has got going for it right now is that Terry Bogard just dropped a SNK character, King of Fighters, non-existent, Fatal Fury. Yes, it's getting a new game, and where I'm happy for that. It's getting ready to get a new game, and it's getting ready to come out. But King of Fighters as a franchise is kind of dead for the most part.
Yeah, they came out with one. They came out with I guess it would have been 15 at the beginning of the PlayStation 5's life cycle. It's got a few updates. It's on its second season. Well, actually, no, its second season pass, I believe it's done. But like you said, they haven't really done anything else with it. King of Fighters used to be a yearly release, which obviously back in the Sprite days was easier. But I don't know. Like after 13 was the last amazingly great looking King of Fighters, because that was the last hand drawn one. 14 was a kind of a letdown because they, for whatever crazy, no, I think it was 12 that was a letdown. They forgot to put Mai in the game.
Speaking of Mai, did you see they put clothes on her?
But they still got her. You still can get her old
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can lock it.
Yeah, her nostalgia costume will be an unlockable, or if you get the
Mhm.
season pass, it'll come as part of
Mhm.
the bundle or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. So
But
having
yeah,
Terry and Mai in Street Fighter 6 is that's kind of crazy.
yeah, that's the first time they've truly had out and out, straight up guest characters. Now,
Street Fighter.
Mhm.
you can argue that Final Fight people, but it's the same universe. Rival School,
Yep.
same universe. So it's
Mhm.
like this is the
They got
first
the
time.
same daddy.
Right, exactly. This is the first
Except,
time
yeah,
they straight had like from across town, other side of the world.
No, what I
Was it
mean by that is,
Metro
Oh, go ahead.
City?
no, what I mean by that is that the dude that created Street Fighter, I don't know if he had a hand in Street Fighter 2, I'm not 100% sure, but Street Fighter, he went on to SNK and created
Oh no,
Yes.
absolutely,
Fury.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So
No,
same daddy.
No, you're 100% right on that. I'm just saying Capcom has never truly had a straight up guest. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's
no,
not,
never.
yeah,
Yeah.
in
Like
the
coming
actual
from a
universe.
completely different company, right?
Right. Closest thing you got to that was Karine, because she was from a manga. The girl that basically they made as Sakura's rival.
Really?
But
Mhm.
yeah,
I
she's
didn't know she
she's
was
not
from
a,
a
she's
manga.
not an actual Capcom creation.
Didn't know that.
So that's
Interesting.
kind of
Didn't
the
know that.
closest you can get to a get, but it's like they rolled her in like she was made by them or whatever, and she's been in Alpha and also Street Fighter 5. So
Interesting.
mhm.
Very
Very,
interesting. Very,
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 very interesting.
Yes.
very, 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 very interesting.
Yomakan is taking away the arcade cabinets. Why is that?
So
Hmm.
I don't know. The Youmacon as a convention has been having a lot of troubles. There's been a lot of controversy about not paying vendors or basically mismanagement of the monies and stuff like that. And the person who was the president of the company that behind Youmacon actually recently just stepped down and said he's not going to be a part of it anymore.
Wow.
So, but there's a lot of confusion about it, ever being able to get back to what it used to be when it first was big. But I think the longer that vacuum exists, the more um others are going to be able to take their place, like it's supplant them. Because I know Otaku Detroit is putting on a great con, and I think they're probably seen as the heir apparent to being the next big one. But yeah, like they apparently, according to Sharita, it's been 2 years since they even had arcade cabinets there. And
Well,
the last time, go ahead.
hold on. Now you're saying they weren't paying their vendors, or were they not paying the venue properly?
They weren't paying. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, because I was about to say usually vendors pay the con to be
Mhm.
there, and now maybe in the sense of like paying the people that that brought in all the arcade machines, because when we went, we saw the massive
Yeah.
setup that they had even for the
That was
tournament.
great too.
They had those guys there 24/7 that were running the audio the front of house tech. So that's not cheap, just the amount of just gear, equipment, and everything they had to bring in. So
Mhm.
you don't pay them, they're not coming back.
Okay,
like at
so
all.
here's the deal. So it says, and this is off of Reddit. So this is usually a person that is, I mean, you take it with a grain of salt, but this is kind of
Right.
what they say is going on.
Mhm.
Despite the con ending over, this is stemming from what happened to 2023. Many of the panelists haven't been reimbursed for spending money to be a part of the con. I guess promises were made to like repay them, and they didn't do that.
Okay, that's strike one.
The
Mhm.
owner of the convention, Morgan, he hides. He basically is ducking, not answering replies or direct questions or emails. He's basically not saying anything. So obviously, as you know, you would consider that strike two if you're
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not communicating. The con took no accountability for members of the security team who manhandled and injured Congress, really, including reports of a grown man doing this to underage girls. They even lied, saying the staff member in question was no longer working. Because the owner of the arcade wasn't paid, And we know this person, right? We knew this person basically. She was a part of the community. Because she wasn't paid, she went out of business.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Oh,
yeah.
That's that. Nobody's gonna want to. They're toxic. They're straight toxic right now. Nobody's gonna want to work with them.
Nobody's gonna want to touch them. Nobody.
Yeah, because you screwed over the talent that took time to come to your con. You screwed over the people that brought arcade machines and whatnot to your con, and unfortunately drove them out of business. And you a lawsuit magnet. Because if you can't get security that can't handle people without manhandling people, man, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Exactly. So it says Youmacon allegedly owes over $40,000 for not paying hotel staff and has allegedly embezzled charity money to fund trips for the con owner and his friends to Japan.
Wow.
That is terrible.
Yeah, so you got embezzlement on top of good God.
Yeah.
Dude.
So like when all of those things are going on, the con itself is kind of dead. Like it's dead. It's hard to come back from that, if ever.
And the worst part is this is the time, and obviously, like you said, with Otaku Detroit and potentially, truth be told, us as a collective too, might need to jump in on this vacuum. With them wanting to potentially sell the Rinsen, they might be looking for events and stuff to kind of close it out before they do. This is actually the time. It's crazy.
So, according to Sharita, the Renaissance Center has parted ways with and doesn't even want to do any. Like they can't have it there. They can't host it as a hotel. Wow.
Yeah, but see, here's the worst part of that though. They put a sour taste in their mouth for probably another similar con at that venue. I mean, obviously, different people, whatever. I don't know though, man. That's messed up.
I don't know. That seems like an opportunity to me, but that's just saying.
All right, so what's up with these picks, man?
Yeah, so let's talk about the picks. So let's fill the people in. Obviously, we know that the NFL season is upon us. This weekend is week 1 of the 18-week NFL season. And this is Nirvana time for people like myself and Simon Says, not so much for GQ and Datakuji.
Oh my God, football! I get to see the men's. The men's gonna be on the field and they're gonna be bashing each other, or that pigskin gonna be. Oh my gosh! Oh, that's all I assumed. People.
This bad. No, that was totally unnecessary.
Please don't
do that again.
It's an accurate kind of breakdown of what it is, though.
You guys get oh.
Woo! Anyway, so Daito was, I don't want to say peer pressured, but he took a chance and decided to join a pick'em league at his job.
Yep. 20 some odd years I work with this person, and not once have I was like, nah, I ain't doing it. You guys are fucking football nerds. I'm going like nerds.
Yes, like a total ogre sound. Nerds. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
But then I said, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And so I'm gonna do it. I said I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
So we picked a few games. Simon Says and we helped him with a couple of choices, and we are going to share those with you. This will be on record because it's literally being recorded. So you will have the picks of the games that we chose. And if you want to put your faith in your friends, the Culture Junkies, specifically Kenshiro and Simon Says, and do your picks according to what we said, we hold no responsibility for wins and losses. We're just literally trying to help our friend. So it's a pick'em league. So how that works, 2 teams are pitted against each other. One team is favored to win, and the point spread covers how many points the team is supposed to win by. So if it's +3, that means that team is chosen to win by at least a field by 3 points. So here's some of the games that we chose to pick, and I'm gonna let Dido read them, and then we'll go over kind of our explanations as to why we chose those. So Dido, if you wouldn't mind. Pick the few games that that you find are interesting.
I don't know what are the high.
So one of the interesting ones is the Ravens versus the Chiefs.
Yeah, Ravens versus Chiefs.
Ravens versus Chiefs at Kansas City. Kansas City is favored to win by 3 points. So they're +3. So they are +3 over the Ravens. I suggested that he picked the Chiefs, and the reasons are thus: the Chiefs are coming off of a Super Bowl high. That's number one. So they're going to be already amped. It's at Kansas City. That's number two. Number three, they do not want to get caught slipping like they did against my Lions last year when they did not have Chris Jones or Travis Kelce and got their mouths punched in. They ain't going to have no Super Bowl hangovers this year. I think the Ravens, as much as they're looking forward to their new look offense with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, ain't going to matter. Chiefs are going to roll, and probably more than by 3 points. That's why I told him to take the points. Chiefs to win.
Chiefs to win.
Plus the points. Marcus A64 is obviously he's also in the chat. He's going to be saying a few things. Another game that we thought was pretty interesting was the one that's going to be in Brazil. It's going to be the Eagles. Brazil. It's going to be the Eagles versus who was it?
Green Bay, the Packers. Packers and Eagles. So it's a home game for the Eagles, but
it's a home game for the Eagles, but technically it's not because it's in Brazil. I think the field. Sometimes I think last year Simon says wasn't the field conditions in Brazil were kind of suspect. Like they're playing on a soccer pitch, but the fields weren't very well maintained. If I remember.
How? Soccer is huge everywhere, but here,
but it's real grass though.
It's real grass. Yeah. And because I think it was an off season for their soccer team or something like that, or they may not have had a lot of money really to properly maintain the fields. The conditions of the fields was kind of bad. That's what I remember. I think, but this may have been in Mexico that I might be.
You might be thinking of Mexico, yeah.
I might be thinking.
I was about to say because in Brazil, I might be thinking of Mexico. They can afford to clean their field and maintain and manicure their field.
Yeah.
And I can't make the joke about the field in Mexico. I just won't. I'll leave that alone. However, both of them teams going to be screwed over because Brazilian women are sexy. So
my friend, ain't no way in the world.
They stayed in the hotel. They are staying. Right. They said they stayed.
Don't you leave that hotel?
Well, don't you live? You're right. And actually, former Lion Darius Slay actually said that same thing. But it's for a different reason. It's because they say there's a lot of crime out there, so they actually are not letting them leave the hotel. And the whole thing with Elon Musk acting like an idiot and Twitter is about to be banned in Brazil or something like that. That's a whole nother thing. We're talking about football. I said Green Bay is going to win.
Yeah.
Because I think the Eagles are. I think their window may have already slammed shut. Jason Kelce retired at excellent center. You don't know if they're going to be able to get away with that, the brother, the tush push or the brotherly shove as they call it in Philadelphia. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get away with that as much without Travis Kelce. Without Jason Kelce, excuse me, there. Saquon Barkley has come over from New York to join the Eagles. But I still think they got a few question marks, and I think Green Bay is riding high. They added a couple of extra weapons. Their defense is actually really very good, and Jordan Love has proven himself to be one of the better young quarterbacks in the league. So I said take Green Bay to, at the very least, cover. I said they will outright win, but I said at the very least they will probably cover. So I said take Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay got picked.
Yep. All right, so another game that we had, and we'll get off this and get on to the main one. There's two more. There's two games. So there's one more game that I thought was kind of interesting, and it was this Atlanta Carolina game. now, Marcus A64, I promise you, I did not pick this to rub it into you, but what was interesting is
it's the Steelers. It's the Steelers.
Steelers versus Carolina.
No, Steelers versus Atlanta.
Steelers versus Atlanta. Okay. That's what was interesting. Steelers versus Atlanta. This is interesting because the Steelers are in a very unique position. They have on their hand, Danger Russ himself, Russell Wilson, coming off a disastrous season with the Denver Broncos. He's been picked as their new quarterback. They also have this guy named Justin Fields who came over from Chicago, basically
returning
was
punts.
kicked out of town. Huh? What's that?
They have him returning punts.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, I'm not lying. He's returning punts.
He's been demoted from starting quarterback to punt returner. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. I did not know that was going on.
How did that happen?
He got traded from Chicago, where he was the starting quarterback. Went to the Steelers. The Steelers had already traded for Russell Wilson. So it was a quarterback competition between Justin Fields, who was much younger than Russell Wilson, and the Super Bowl quarterback, who isn't very good anymore. And Justin Fields couldn't beat him out. So,
I mean, okay. And again, I understand that football is a young man's sport for the most part. Russell Wilson's still Russell Wilson. I don't really follow sports, but I still know who he is. Now, granted, he's not who he once was.
Correct.
And that's fine because everybody, Father Time is undefeated.
Undefeated.
However, he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So he has a skill set and a skill level that this younger guy is not going to have. Now, to put him on the punt squad, return squad is kind of messed up. They could have at least made him a second or third stringer so he could sit under the learning tree.
He's still that.
But
he is still that. He's just returning punts too.
He better hope he's the next Willie Beeman. That's what he better hope.
I'm just saying.
Or the next Flash.
I found everything about that to be incredibly interesting about this game because now in Atlanta you got Bijan Robinson paired with Kirk Cousins, who broke his leg essentially, or his leg fell off in the Vikings. So basically his leg essentially fell off. He tore his Achilles in the Vikings in the middle of the season, in the middle of the year. He's coming off of a torn Achilles. He's already nearing 40 years old. But Atlanta is more stable, in my opinion, than the Steelers. So I told him to pick Atlanta. And obviously, the last game we're talking about here, being in Detroit, we're talking about Matthew Stafford coming back to face the Lions, Sunday Night Football. And I said, the Lions are riding high. It is your lock of the week. The Lions are going to win, and it'll be well more than the touchdown than 6.5 points? No, by 3 points.
It's 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5. They're favored by a little more than a field goal. They're definitely going to do that. So I think the Lions running hot, they're definitely going to win. That is your lock, and that is the picks for this week. We'll see how we did next week after things are over. I understand phrasing. I get it. I'm sorry, my friend. Just saying. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, so Lions beat Rams. This was the final pick, huh?
Yeah,
that is the final pick.
The Lions are going to beat them off.
Wow, talk about phrasing. Talk about phrasing. Yeah, I know that was on purpose. Talk about phrasing. All right. So last thing I kind of want to talk about you guys is this whole thing with George R.R. Martin came out on his blog today, and he has since deleted it. By the way, it's already deleted.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to my camera. I think I froze.
You're in the Matrix.
We're all in the Matrix.
My voice is still here. My voice is still here, but my camera, my camera has putzed out on me. It says another application has taken my camera. What?
A new
challenger,
open, man. Right. You got too many tabs open.
That is so weird. That is so weird. But anyway, so my camera is.
Oh, there you go.
You're back.
My camera is back. So that was really strange. Anyway, George R.R. Martin came out with a now deleted blog post, essentially attacking House of the Dragon for some of the creative changes that they made this second season. I read what he was complaining about, and I think a lot of people were anticipating that he had a big time axe to grind with the producers of the HBO show. Well, it turns out that he took issue with some of the creative changes of omitting a character completely in a pivotal scene in the second season, which is going to carry a butterfly effect that's going to affect things that are supposed to happen in season 3. They'll no longer be happening. So he took a little bit of issue with that, and he had a problem with it. But he still also agreed that in the grand scheme of things, the removal of this character doesn't really, affect things too bad. But when you phrase it like that, and he's openly airing his complaints and his grievances against the producers of the show, who he gave creative license, and who on the show that he consults on, I just found it very interesting for him to do that, and it harkened back to maybe some of the issues that George Lucas had with Star Wars, creative decisions that he made. Now, it's different because Lucas made his own films. But I think there's also been this thing, GQ, you tell me if I'm wrong, weren't there instances where Lawrence Kasdan had to actually talk George off the ledge and tell him not to do certain things? Because that's partially why Empire Strikes Back turned out as well as it did, is because he had directive control over that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, and then also Lucas got his own mentor. I forgot the director's name of Empire.
Lawrence Kasdan. It was Lawrence Kasdan.
I believe Lawrence Kasdan was the person that wrote it.
Yeah,
it was a different person that directed it. But here's the thing about Lucas on that, and we've gone over this before. Lucas is a great visionary. He comes up with great concepts overall, blah, blah, blah. Don't put him in a director's chair. And don't put him in an editing booth either. Because we all heard the story that the reason Star Wars A New Hope is as good as it was because his wife at the time edited that movie down from the weird space, thing that he was trying to do. Well, as far as Martin is concerned, though, it's like, bro, if you signed over creative license, let them cook.
Yeah, you really have nothing to say at the moment.
Well, hold on. Time out. Back up. Now, one of the most prolific writers of all time, who has many things that were made off of his stories. He has had lots of issues, and that would be Stephen King.
Oh yeah,
I heard that there was one movie that they got
The Dark Tower.
They got that one wrong, but I don't know if that's the one he sued the people like Stephen King, like he didn't like one so much.
Really?
That they sued him. I saw it earlier today because of that whole George R.R. Martin thing. And
but you got to remember, Stephen King always sues. And again, Stephen King was known for not liking any of the adaptations, with the exception of I think Green Mile and he didn't like The Shining. He didn't like Green Mile.
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, Lawnmower Man.
Yeah. But at the time,
he won.
No, and absolutely, and that's fine. But Lawnmower Man was, you got to remember when that came out, the stuff they were trying to do, they were way ahead of their time as far as getting it truly to match what he came up with in the book. Now, Green Mile and I think Shawshank Redemption were like the only two that they said that he liked.
Yeah,
or someone was really like okay with. Yeah, those were movies. Yeah, exactly. Those movies were 10 out of 10 movies for me, in my opinion.
So wait a minute. Are you saying King didn't like The Shining?
No, dude. That's the one that outside of Lawnmower Man that he hated.
What?
That's why they brought it up in Ready Player One. That was the whole lynch of like,
that's crazy.
He disliked his creation because of what they did to it. Yeah, The Shining. Everybody knows The Shining is a good movie, but Stephen King, compared to his book and the way he had his vision of it, he does not like that film
because they changed so much of it.
Right. Stephen King is definitely he's definitely the OG, like, don't mess with my stuff guy or get it right, but he still constantly sells the rights to do his stories. So I mean,
got to get that money, pay for that coke.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you got to get your money, and I completely understand that. But to me, once you sell those rights away or give creative license or whatever, yes, you can voice your opinion all day long, but don't sit here and try to be like, oh, well, they should have. It's like, dude, either you could have come in there and be like, hey, I give you creative license, but I also, like my man that's doing One Piece, creative license, but I'm also going to sit there and consult.
Yep. I want a
Yeah.
consultant. I want to be a
And
consultant.
exactly.
8-year-old Oda is doing it right, and it was Irvin Kershner, by the way, that directed.
Thank you. That's who I
Empire
couldn't.
Strikes
That's
Back.
who I couldn't remember. That was
Yeah.
Lucas's like mentor. And the
Mhm.
thing is, that's part of the reason Empire was done so well.
Mhm.
One, Kirshner was not going to back off of what he wanted to do because he knew
Mhm.
Lucas already admired him anyway. So it's like, bro, I got this,
See,
and
I'm
it
doing-
ended up right, and it ended up being the best Star Wars. And we all
Mhm.
know this. Out of all of that era, that was the best Star Wars movie. To
Right.
me,
Mhm.
Empire kills Jedi
It's still,
and A New Hope all day long.
to me,
Yep.
it is still the greatest Star Wars movie. Period.
Mhm.
It is the best one ever. But I find it interesting to hear about Stephen King suing these people. I didn't know anything about that.
Oh yeah, dude,
But
he was notorious, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing how George R.R. Martin is essentially, he tried to air his grievances about a production that he signed off on
Mhm.
after the fact, right? But he's hiding it now, or he deleted the post. So it tells me one of two things: that either he thought better of it because people were going to misconstrue his words and try to say that, oh, well, George R. Martin hates all of Game of Thrones and he hated season 8, or which I'm sure he probably did. A lot of people did. He hated season 8 of the original Game of Thrones. He hates House of the Dragon. They're not going to make any more Game of Thrones spinoffs, which is totally not true because they're already talking about
Yeah, locked in.
the other prequel that they're getting ready to do. That's already in production for one of his books. But it's just I find it interesting that people who give creative license to people and they start airing their grievances after the fact, it's almost like, yes, you have the right to complain, but if you're already a part of the production and you signed off on it and it went out to air, why are you doing this? Why are you, because House of the Dragon is a very popular show on HBO. Did gangbusters ratings wise. So why would you sabotage the own success of your own show?
Because he already got paid.
Well, you get more
Okay.
money, man.
You could definitely get more money, and I agree with you, but you already got paid. So he's like, I got paid.
Yeah. I think it's literally that's why it was deleted, because just what Simon says, you can get more. So
Mhm.
Right.
he's
You-
like,
you
you know
try-
what? let me not rock this boat too much.
Yeah, you're trying
Right.
to kill the goose that lays your golden eggs, man.
Exactly, man.
Like,
That's what I'm
shut
saying.
up, George.
It's like, okay, I get having some complaints and I get having some issues. Oh, hey Bianca, how you doing? House of the Dragon season 2 was underwhelming to me compared to season 1. And it's your right to feel that way. I somewhat disagree. I felt like season 2 had a lot of really good stuff, and yes, they left a lot of plot threads hanging to be resolved. I think the real big one is going to be season 3, but I hear you. It definitely dragged in some areas, so I totally understand. But if they're complaining about, or if George R. R. Martin is complaining about, for a lack of a better term, the goose that laid the golden egg, why would you do this? And you already were involved and you signed off. It just seems counterproductive.
I'm telling you, dude, because he probably already signed off on all of them. He can say whatever the heck he wants because he already got paid. But again, delete it. They're not going to not do a season 3 because of whatever the heck he said. They're going to, because it's people are watching it. I didn't watch last season because I forgot. And you like, how do you forget? It's because I got so much other shit to do. And now that it's all out, it's easier to binge. But if he's getting paid and they're getting paid, they're not going to stop like, oh, well, we're not going to do any more House of the Dragon. Like, come on now. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
They're
That's
going to
funny.
finish it all.
King Takeem got a good quip over there on YouTube. That's funny. He says, RR don't need no HBO money. He gonna buy them after that last book drops. When is that gonna drop, by the way? We've been waiting for like 12 years, I think, for when's
y'all been waiting. Y'all been waiting. I do not care. Like, I have yet to watch any of Game of Thrones.
You're gonna enjoy. Well,
you would
enjoy.
enjoy
It's not
the violence.
You're gonna
most
enjoy
definitely.
it. I think you're gonna enjoy it. Which is funny. He didn't watch any of Game of Thrones, but when Miao Yin came to visit us in Detroit 4 years ago, when they strapped me down and made me watch The Fifth Element, we actually did watch the last episode of Game of Thrones together.
Yeah, and then like I said, the coolest moment of that whole episode was when the dragon raised its wings up when she was walking up towards everybody. I'm like,
that was an incredible shot.
I mean, that was such a cool shot. They stole that for the Judgment Day when Edge first formed the Judgment Day. They stole that same shot for his entrance. I was like,
oh, that was an incredible shot.
I was like, that looks freaking cool. But again, and the worst part is I own all of Game of Thrones. I have the Blu-ray box set sitting up there right now. So I could literally binge it and start watching it whenever I feel like. It's just I've never really get to that urge of like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and watch Game of Thrones. Like,
it's a commitment, bro. It's
absolutely.
a commitment.
Absolutely.
It is totally a commitment. So you got some time to kill. You really want to do. I mean, you could save that till when you're like 50 or 60. It doesn't age, right? It ages. It's one of those shows that's going to age well. I think it's going to age well even over time. I think,
and that's fine. And like I said, a lot of actors that I respect are in the series. I definitely know that part of it for sure. And again, I'll get around to it at some point. But like Dido said, as far as this Martin thing, it's like he got paid, so he's spouting his mouth off. And then I think seeing how other fandoms are like looking at, especially Star Wars Acolyte and all that, and creators rather opening their mouths and then basically kind of like slitting their own throats. It's like, hold on, maybe I don't need to say anything. Maybe I just need to sit back and just collect them checks.
Really don't have to say nothing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the Acolyte has been getting a lot of after support from a lot of fans that seemingly are running petitions and stuff like that to try and bring the show back from being canceled. Manny Jacinto was at a convention over the weekend, this past weekend, and said was asked the question, what is the one thing you would like to do before your career is over that you absolutely want to do? And he said doing the Acolyte season 2, which met with a lot of applause at the convention.
Oh, now y'all want to second season after y'all started all that hate shit. No, I see how this going.
Wow. Again, it goes back to the thing of, yes, the squeaky wheel gets the grease and all that other sort of thing. They let the quote unquote fandom menace run it down, and it's like, look, no, that's what they call them. All of the, as I'm going
I
to
love
call
it.
them, no, absolutely, but all of the nils, as I'm going to call them, because it's like,
Nils.
you got shills, you got to have nils. So all of the nils and ones that just grift on being negative about every single possible thing, it's like, okay, look, if y'all let that happen, and if y'all buy into that, if y'all watch the videos and try to get on their comments, just let all that stuff die. Luke said it best in Last Jedi, like, it's time to just let it die.
Yeah,
because it's like, if you keep battling back and forth with them, it's like, okay,
nothing will ever get done.
Yeah, you raising up nothing but just attention to like all the people that are being negative about it. It's just like, dude, 100%. Let them be negative in their corner over there. You watch it, support it, enjoy it. If people don't jive with it, you don't have to sit there and argue back and forth with them all day. You just wasting time. Now, the Acolyte, as we've seen and we've talked about before in the past, I'm not going to go over all the detail, but pacing issues, quite a bit of cost for 8 episodes. Some things definitely could have been improved. I enjoyed some aspects of it. Some stuff was really cool. Some stuff could have been improved. But that's like any series that's ever been made. There's always going to be stuff that you can do better. Now, if the viewership wasn't there, okay, all of y'all that are stealing Disney Plus and maybe not actually actively buying Disney Plus and all the other various stuff, you might want to reconsider that. That way, if you want your new stuff to get made, you gotta support your shit.
And to that, I will say this, and we'll make this last on that topic, and then we'll wrap it up. But this is what I appreciated about what Paramount did with Star Trek Discovery. When Star Trek Discovery was first coming out, there was a lot of negativity surrounding it because it was going to be a prequel, because it was starring Michelle Yeoh. It was starring also Sonequa Martin Green. And then when the show came out, a lot of people were upset about how they treated Klingons and all this other kind of stuff. And it was very controversial because it focused literally on one character and not a whole bunch of other characters. And they also weren't traveling to it wasn't serial. It wasn't a serial story. It was basically an overarching story. And that was different from what Star Trek, but they believed in the show enough to give it room to breathe, to evolve, and stabilize. Even though every year, without fail, you had, as you call them, the nils saying it's going to get canceled, it's going to get canceled, people are going to get fired, and it never happened because Paramount believed in their product. I think it's far past time for Disney to kind of start, and Lucasfilm to kind of do the same thing. Because I think, like you said, The Acolyte had a lot of good things going for it. It wasn't perfect, but I think if you gave it time, it would have evolved into a really, really, really good show. Think about all the stuff that wouldn't get made now or be allowed to live because of the way these fans act. I think the Clone Wars would have been got canceled.
Oh yeah, people don't believe. I saw a dude on TikTok where he was talking about how, like, trying to make the comparison to the Clone Wars to the Acolyte, and I was like, you obviously wasn't there from the beginning, dude, because I take it that the guy was younger than we are. We were there with adult eyes, sitting in that theater when we went to go see the Clone Wars movie, and we were like, nobody liked Ahsoka, nobody liked the animation style, nobody liked it, but they just kept it going and made the story better, started progressing, and it got good. But it wasn't just it came out and everybody was like, oh, this is the greatest thing. That did not happen. So I don't know. Personally, I want more Acolyte. I liked it. I agree with a lot of the stuff that you said. I think they should be hour-long episodes. I think they should be able to do a lot more character development in that aspect. And I like the characters that they came up with. I enjoyed some of the all of the fight scenes. But it is what it is. If we don't get Acolyte, I think they're gonna do it and they're not gonna call it the Acolyte. I think more is gonna come.
I think so too. I think so too. I think so too. That makes a lot of sense. And speaking of last thing, I promise. Natasha Liu Bordizzo, who played Sabine Wren, was also at that same con that Manny Jacinto was at, and she revealed that Ahsoka season 2 is definitely happening, but it's not supposed to start filming until next year in the summer.
Oh boy,
that's fine. I mean, here's the thing: they don't need to rush these things out. They just don't. What they really need to do, and I'm going to say this, and this goes not just for Disney, this goes for every company across the board. Stop letting these actors get in front of people and say stuff unless you approve what they say. Because a lot of the negativity comes from these, oh, this person tweeted this, oh, this person said that. It's like, dude, come out with your product and go back to the old days of, like, you don't get to say anything about this until we give you permission to say something about it. I don't give a damn about social media. Write these contracts, lock them down back to the way it used to be, where the product speaks for itself. I don't need you as an actor to give your opinion about it. You got paid for it. Promote it when I tell you to promote it. Other than that, don't talk about it. You need to go back to those days. Because that you will completely cut off the fuel for all of these nils.
Death to the grifters, death to the hate grifters. We don't like you. We wish you would go away. Let us get back to actually enjoying things and talk about stuff we love instead of only talking about stuff that we hate. Anyway, we got like 2 more minutes before we go. Few news and notes about anything. We are still ramping back up to getting back to being full person. I think we haven't set a full date, but definitely look out for that. The set is looking really, really great. We got all our sound issues worked out. I think it's going to be awesome when we finally do get back together all at once. Some real relaxed, casual conversation. It's going to be pretty fun. Beetlejuice comes out this Friday. Anybody going to go see it?
Yeah, I would definitely want to.
Killer's Game 2.
The what?
Killer's Game comes out the week after.
Does it come out the week after?
Yeah, it comes out next week.
Yeah.
Okay. But Beetlejuice does look really, really fun. So I will probably check that out at some point. It won't be Friday, but one of these days.
We'll have to put out the call to the movie junkies and see when we want to kind of go see it this weekend and make some plans to go and do that. All right, y'all. That is the show for this week. I want to thank you all for coming out and joining us. Make sure you come back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, for another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. For my friends, the great Eddie Kuji and GQ and Simon Says, I am Kishiro. See you guys later. Have a great week.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.